Hello friends, I am back with yet another educational video on my YouTube channel Quest for Knowledge. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about nutrition in human beings with special focus on human digestive system. We all are aware that human beings they feed on variety of food and they derive nutrition by eating both plant as well as animal products. Since human beings they feed on variety of food materials which are complex substances, these complex substances needs to be broken down into simpler substances so that they can be utilized by the body cells. For this reason, the food has to be digested, and the digestion in human beings is brought about by the digestive system. The organs which are responsible for ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion constitute the digestive system. The digestive system comprises of the alimentary canal and associated digestive glands. Now let us begin our discussion about different parts of the alimentary canal which forms the digestive system. Mouth or buccal cavity. The food in human beings enters through the mouth or buccal cavity. The floor of the mouth has muscular tongue with taste buds. The taste buds helps us to perceive different tastes like sweet, salty, sour and bitter. Human beings they have upper and lower jaw holding the teeth. Only lower jaw is movable, whereas the upper jaw is joined to the skull. Human beings are diphthongt, that is, they have two sets of teeth, temporary and permanent teeth. The temporary teeth are present in babies which are gradually shed off and are replaced by the permanent teeth. Human beings are also heterodont, that is, they have different types of teeth. Incisors, canines, premolars and molars. The different types of teeth which are present has different functions. Incisors helps in biting the food. Canine helps in tearing the flesh. Premolars are used for crushing the food and molars helps in grinding the food. In the buccal cavity, the salivary glands are present which secretes the saliva. The next part of the digestive system is the food pipe or esophagus. The buccal cavity leads to a long, narrow and muscular tube that connects the stomach. This is known as the food pipe or esophagus. The swallowed food passes into the esophagus. Epiglottis is a muscular flap which prevents the entry of the food particles into the windpipe or trachea while swallowing it. The next organ of the digestive system is the stomach. Stomach is a thick-walled muscular bag-like structure which lies below the diaphragm on the left side of the abdominal cavity. It is divided into cardiac and pyloric part. Stomach is the widest part of the alimentary canal. It receives food from the esophagus at one end and it opens into the small intestine at the other. The food is stored and digested partially in the stomach. Liver, pancreas and gallbladder. Liver is the reddish brown gland which is situated in the upper part of the abdomen on the right side. It is the largest gland in the body. Liver secretes bile which is stored in the gallbladder. The bile duct releases bile from the gallbladder to the small intestine. The pancreas is a large cream-colored gland which is present below the stomach. The next part of the digestive system is the small and large intestine. Small intestine is convoluted, that is highly coiled tube having a length of about 7.5 meters. It is further divided into three regions, namely duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Duodenum is the first part of the small intestine and is C-shaped. Jejunum is comparatively longer and more coiled, and ileum is the last part of the small intestine whose inner surface is folded to form villi. Villi has a network of thin blood capillaries close to its surface. Large intestine. It is much shorter and wider than small intestine. It is about 1.5 meter in length. It is also differentiated into three regions: cecum, colon and rectum. Cecum is a small rounded blind sac from which vermiform appendix arises. Colon is the inverted U-shaped tube, and rectum opens to the exterior through anus. Now let us discuss various processes involved in digestion through which human beings they obtain nutrition. Ingestion. Ingestion is the process of taking in food inside the body. Digestion. Digestion is a process by which there is breakdown of large insoluble molecules into smaller molecules so that it can be absorbed into the bloodstream. The process of digestion begins in the mouth or buccal cavity and continues up to small intestine. Let us discuss the process of digestion and the organs involved in the process of digestion along with the events that is taking place in that organ, which helps in bringing about the process of digestion in human beings. In the mouth or buccal cavity, the food is masticated by the teeth. The process of breaking down the food into smaller particles is known as mastication. While doing so, the food is mixed with saliva secreted by the salivary glands with the help of tongue. Saliva contains an enzyme, salivary amylase, known as ptyalin. Ptyalin helps in the breakdown of starch into maltose. Starch, which is a polysaccharide, is broken down into maltose, which is a disaccharide with the help of the enzyme ptyalin, which is present in the saliva. Mixing the food with saliva makes the food alkaline, and it also makes the food wet and slippery so that we can swallow the food easily. Chewing and mixing the food with saliva makes it form a ball-like, which is known as bolus. Bolus is consistent and of uniform texture, which is swallowed into the esophagus. The food from the buccal cavity passes into the stomach through the esophagus. The lining of the alimentary canal has muscles that contracts rhythmically to push the food forward. This type of movement is known as peristaltic movement. When the bolus enters the esophagus, then the muscles lining the inner wall of the esophagus, it undergoes rhythmic contraction and relaxation, pushing the food forward. The muscles over here, it contracts, pushing the food downward. And as the food reaches over here, then it is relaxed. And further, the muscle over here, it undergoes contraction, pushing the food down, and then it undergoes relaxation. So this continues along the gut, pushing the food further forward. Here there is contraction and relaxation in a rhythmic manner. So this type of movement is known as peristaltic movement. When the food reaches the stomach, it is stored for about 6 to 8 hours. Once the food reaches the stomach, the gastric glands present in the stomach secretes gastric juices which contains hydrochloric acid and protein digesting enzyme pepsin. Secretion of hydrochloric acid makes the food acidic and helps pepsin to act on proteins to convert it into peptones. Proteins are broken down into peptones with the help of the enzyme pepsin. Mucus is secreted by the inner walls of the stomach that protects the inner lining of the stomach by the action of acid under normal conditions. Muscles present on the walls of the stomach undergoes rhythmic contraction and relaxation and helps in churning of the food. Churning of the food helps in mixing the food thoroughly with the digestive enzymes and further breaking down the food into smaller particles. During the process of churning, the cardiac sphincter prevents the backflow of food into the esophagus, and the pyloric sphincter prevents the food from moving forward into the small intestine. After proper churning of the food is slowly passed into the duodenum of the small intestine. The food from the stomach is regulated by the pyloric sphincter muscle, which releases the food in small amounts into the small intestine. Depending on the food the animals eat, the length of the small intestine also differs. Herbivorous animals, they have longer, smaller intestine compared to carnivorous animals, because herbivorous animals, they feed on green grass and leaves which contains cellulose, and the digestion of cellulose takes longer time, whereas carnivorous animals, they feed on flesh which is easier to digest. Duodenum of the small intestine receives bile secreted by liver, which is stored in the gallbladder with the help of bile duct, and pancreatic juice from the pancreas. The food from the stomach is acidic and the bile makes it alkaline so that the pancreatic juice can act on it. Bile also breaks down large globules of fats into smaller globules so that the enzymes can act on it. Pancreatic juice contains enzymes like trypsin and lipase. Trypsin helps in the digestion of proteins, whereas lipase digests fats. The glands present on the walls of the small intestine secretes intestinal juice. Intestinal juice contains enzymes like aminolytic, proteolytic and lipolytic enzymes. Aminolytic enzyme converts carbohydrates to glucose. Proteolytic enzyme converts proteins to amino acids, and lipolytic enzyme converts fats to fatty acids and glycerol. Absorption. Digestion of the food is completed in the small intestine, and the digested food is taken up by the walls of the small intestine. Absorption of the digested food materials is taken up by the ileum part of the small intestine. Villi are the finger-like projections present on the inner lining of the ileum of small intestine. This increases the surface area for absorption. Villi are richly supplied with blood capillaries, which helps in the absorption of digested food by the process of diffusion, osmosis or active participation of the cells of the small intestine. Since fatty acids and glycerols, they are insoluble in water, they are passed on to the laterals, which are the lymph capillaries of villi. So in laterals, there is absorption of fatty acids and glycerol. The absorbed fats is then sent through the blood to different parts of the body. Assimilation. It is the process of utilization of absorbed food for various functions. The absorbed food is utilized for obtaining energy, building up new tissues and repair of old tissues. Egestion. The process of removal or elimination of unabsorbed food from the body is known as egestion. The walls of the large intestine absorbs more water from the unabsorbed food. Absorption of water takes place in the colon region of the large intestine. Finally, the unabsorbed food reaches the rectum and it is eliminated to the outside with the help of anus, which is regulated by the anal sphincter. We discussed about nutrition in human beings with focus on human digestive system. We also discussed about different parts of the human digestive system involved in the nutrition of human beings. We also discussed the various processes involved in nutrition in man, namely egestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Thank you for watching it.